Hello and welcome to another episode of Martech Explained, the video series where we help you navigate the ever-growing marketing technology landscape. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to select the right technology solution for your business. So the first thing that we should be looking at when we're looking at selecting a piece of marketing technology is really thinking about what your objectives are, both from a business and from a marketing point of view, and then really thinking about how that piece of technology is supposed to be supporting those objectives. The second thing I'd advise you to think about is whatever your current systems and processes are, think about how you're currently coping with those, what challenges are being faced that might be solved by a piece of marketing technology coming in. So let's say, for example, that you're using an email provider such as MailChimp and you're looking at marketing automation. Start really thinking about what challenges you're facing when you're using MailChimp that might be addressed by using marketing automation. Something else that you should really consider is engaging with other people in the business, talking to other units, other divisions, other team members, talking to senior team members and things like that, and just really trying to capture what their needs are, what they believe their requirements are that might be supported by the system, and making sure that you've got their buy-in from the very beginning, because I promise you that'll help quite a lot when you come to implement the system later. So once you've kind of captured your requirements there, the next step is to start looking at what is out there in the marketplace. So I'd recommend you use sites like Capterra and G2 Crowd here, where they have kind of graphics and things like that showing different providers and where they are in the industry, and also reviews from peers so you can see how other people have found their software and how it worked for their business. And by looking at those tools, you can start creating a shortlist to work out what you should be going deeper into. So after that, then you can start looking at the different websites, online documentation, reviews for those tools that make up your shortlist. And I'd say that a company's website is probably the best place to start. They'll often have a lot of information out on there, potentially things like YouTube as well, either from users or from the company that might show you the solution. But the key thing here really is to make sure, based on your earlier requirements, that you really understand what functionality you need, not what functionality you like or would like to have, because it's really easy to get carried away and start thinking about all the extra features that a piece of software could have and could benefit you. But what we found is that when companies kind of implement a solution that's much bigger than they actually need, they don't really tend to use all of that functionality. They'll often only use a small percentage of it, which usually means that you're paying a lot more for a tool that you're not really fully using, and that just doesn't really make sense. You'd be much better off implementing a smaller and likely cheaper solution, and then using that for a number of years until you outgrow it and you really understand what you need from the next solution. The next point I think you should always be considering is integrations as well. So what other systems do you need that to integrate with internally? Martech is often implemented and then kind of kept in isolation when you'd actually be getting a lot more value out of it if you're making sure that your systems work together from the beginning by selecting the right tools. And there are a number of other providers out there that can help you with your integrations if a particular solution you're looking at doesn't integrate with your current systems. So the likes of Zapier, for example, can help be that middleman that connects these two systems together. But that's always something you should make sure that you're really looking into when you're making that selection. Again, it's just likely to make you more efficient and save you headaches in the long run. So after you've done that and you've whittled down that shortlist to providers that you think will meet your solutions based on what you've seen online, the next step is you're going to definitely have to engage with the vendors themselves. You'll probably still have questions that you couldn't find answers to online. Often websites don't go into as much detail as you'd want, they just give you the flavor. So you really need to start talking to them, ask the very specific questions and make sure you fully understand and appreciate their answers. Because what you don't want to do is find that you've signed up to a piece of software and you've been told that it can do what you think it can do, or it can do what you think it can do, but potentially not in a particularly easy way or the way that you'd really like it to work. So you want to make sure that you fully understand the solution that works within your requirements. Where possible, I'd also recommend that you sign up for trials and make sure as you go through that trial that it's really ticking all your boxes. Unfortunately, not every provider has a trial, but I'm certain that every provider, if they don't have a trial, will be willing to demo that and willing to demonstrate how their tool can meet your specific requirements. So just make sure you're going through that in a very detailed and thorough way so that nothing's being overlooked. And then the last point that I just want to touch on in this video is that you need to make sure that their pricing model works for you. Costs can end up varying wildly between providers sometimes, just because their pricing model might not be quite configured for the way that you want it. So take, for example, learning management solutions, which we were looking at recently for a client. Sometimes they're based on a number of users. So you'll pay a license fee for having a set number of users access a solution. However, if you're wanting to onboard thousands of people within your organization, but just do a one-off course, it really doesn't make sense to pay a per user per month license. In that situation, you're probably more likely to want an unlimited license, which will enable you to put all those users through. But on the other hand, if you do want to do ongoing training to a smaller and more limited number of users, then that pricing model of paying per user probably works out a lot more cost effective. So what I'd say is really, first of all, talk to the provider, make sure you understand their model, and see if they're willing to work with you on that model. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. At the end of the day, what we need to do here is make sure that you're not overpaying for a solution, that you're paying for a solution that's meeting your requirements, because in the long run, you're likely to need to demonstrate an ROI or some kind of return for the investment. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure you give us a like. If you have any questions or you'd like to share your thoughts, make sure you leave a comment. And if you'd like to keep up to date with future content, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks.